Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Please take just a minute to say hello to everybody around you, to wish them a Shabbat shalom, and to enter into this beautiful space. Find out. I'm Rabbi Jessica Graff, joined by Cantor Toby Glaser, and soon, very soon to be Rabbi George Altshuler here on the Bima. Has anybody never been to Sherith Israel before? Amazing. Okay, we have a lot of new people. Well, you must look around this gorgeous sanctuary for just a minute and to recognize whenever we say in the morning service, Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, how great our tents are, O Jacob. What a great tent we have, don't we? It's such a wonderful place to be able to call home, and we're so aware of it given the pandemic and that we were out of our space, but continuing to build community. So it's a privilege to be back in our space. I'll just point out, which I love to do, the Moses window up here, which is a very famous piece of Jewish art. It tells the true story of Moses receiving the 10 Commandments under Half Dome in Yosemite. And it's part of the great history of the Jews coming to San Francisco and California and the new world out here, the new frontier to build a Jewish life. And so as the light changes and moves, this glorious window lights up and reminds us of the fact that we are continuing to build a brand new community in our image here in San Francisco 170-something years later. So I would like to invite Alicia Clutter, member of our Board of Trustees, to share some words of welcome on this Shabbat.
The little speech I wrote. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
My name is Alicia Kletter, and I'm a member of the board of Sherith Israel's the Sherith Israel's Board of Trustees. Welcome to all of you here in this beautiful sanctuary and those of you on live stream. I was thinking this week about my first year, I just completed my first year as a board member, and how after 18 years of membership at Sherith Israel, I have the honor, it really does feel like an honor, of greeting you all today for Shabbat services. Over the past 18 years, I've experienced a really rich diversity of community here at Sherith Israel. First, there was the Intro to Judaism class to prepare to my marriage. Hi, Evan. Followed by the circuit of bris and baby namings. Then the early childhood education community as our children entered preschool here. And then there was a decade, a kind of blurry, exhausted decade of parenting. But I know at some point during that decade I converted to Judaism, so there was the community of mentors and fellow students there. Then, now, actually last year as well as this year, we have the Bar and Bat Mitzvahs, which are a joyous community event. Hi, Iris. And now, as I gather each month with the Board of Trustees for schmoozing and work, of course, I am aware of the fact that Sherith Israel has provided a sense of evolving community for me and my family, excuse me, for my entire Jewish life here. And I am grateful to share this Shabbat service with all of you, our little Friday night community. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So Alicia, on that list, we'll have you going to rabbinical school, right? And there's some other big milestones ahead you haven't even imagined yet, but we will get there. It's a privilege for us to all be able to be together tonight. We have some simchas to celebrate. We're very excited to celebrate with our bar mitzvah family. We have a wedding blessing tonight and an incredible guest speaker who's here with us. So I would like to invite Jonah and Iris, please, to come forward to light the candles for the Friday night service just before this young person becomes an adult in our community tomorrow morning. You're all invited to join us in person at 10:30 tomorrow morning for Jonah's bar mitzvah.
Hello.
Jonah joined us probably about a couple of months ago and had been preparing, and we are delighted to welcome his family to community and to celebrate them tomorrow morning. Would you like to do the honors, or you want Iris to do the honors?
I can try.
You can try. He's been warned.
I'm very bad at it, but...
That's all right. Hold that one. Yeah, that's right. Hey.
There you go.
Oh,
Go on.
no, I'm so sorry.
No problem. You're doing great.
Stop with my hand.
That's fine. It's okay. You're doing great. One each. It's very egalitarian. We're going to bring the Shabbat lights and then you chant.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Yasher Koach, beautiful chanting. Thank you.
Shabbat offers us the opportunity for a shift from everyday concerns to deeper meaning, a shift from the fractured world to a sense of wholeness. And our next prayer, L'chadodi, is the moment that shift is supposed to happen. L'chadodi can be found on page 20, We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, and on verse 9, we'll rise and welcome in the spirit of Shabbat.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, בשם ולתפארת מליט תהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלחץ, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שתדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We remain standing if we are able and turn to page 28 for the Baruch, our call to prayer.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ידי די ידי די 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 Yadai dai, yadai dai, dai dai. Yadai dai, dai dai, dai dai. Yadai dai, yadai dai, dai dai.
We continue now by considering God's love for us. We read together on page 32. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people, Israel.
כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, והם נגע יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Please be seated.
Teens, feeling chanty? Come on up. Is that an eye roll, Jake? Maybe. Anyone else? Sigal, I see you up the back. Come on. Got the whole crowd. Jonah, if you want to join the teens. No? All right. Save it for tomorrow. Whenever you're ready, guys.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, ופשרתם לאור תחתיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Elohim, Emet. Shakoach. Take a seat. Thank you.
Yasher koach. So, as many of you know, sometimes to make a point, you have to be very blunt. And one of my teachers in rabbinical school recently made a point in such a way. He said something very blunt. He said to me, you know, if we only said prayers that we believed in completely, we'd have nothing left in the prayer book. So I thought that was a blunt statement. And the point he was trying to make was that prayer can and perhaps ought to be aspirational. We pray for things that we hope will happen. And that is especially true with our next prayer, Mi Chamocha, in which we commemorate God splitting the sea of reeds. So I offer that to you now, and I hope that we can consider Mi Chamocha as an aspirational prayer, and we can imagine what miracles we may hope for today. Mi Chamocha can be found on page 40.
מי כמוך ואלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר וקודש,
torah tehilot, osif elef, torah tehilot, osif elef, malchutecha ra'u banecha, בוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי, ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יאי די די יאי די 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 Yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai dai, yada dai dai dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai. ונאמר כי פרעה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
In our next prayer, we contemplate and pray for peace. We pray that a sukkah of shalom, a shelter of peace, will spread over us. Hashkivenu can be found on page 42.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us daily wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
We turn our prayers now to those in need of healing, in need of the shlemut, the wholeness of healing, whether that be in mind, body, or soul. The Misha Berach can be found on page 253.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
Tzur Miriam bat Hana Moshe, Frumit bat Miriam, Fievel ben Sivia, Jim Blattner, Daniel Burton, Bob Fonero, Stephen Gerbsman, William Kurian, Fred Nervo, Philip Rosenberg, Agnes Rothblatt, Arlene and Steve Krieger, and those whom we mention now.
שברך אמותינו מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
I'll just do a longer something.
Page 46.
Adonai sfatai tiftach, Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai sfatai tiftach, Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם.
388.
אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה אז יבוא כבר כולם. אמרו את זה קודם, לפניי זה לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה נשנה מההתחלה. יהיה לנו רע, אין דבר, זה לא נורא. אמרו את זה קודם, לפניי זה לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם.
I don't know. There we go. We find ourselves in the space in our calendar, in our Jewish calendar, just having experienced Yom HaShoah, our day of remembrance of the Holocaust. And we had a very interesting program here on Tuesday with filmmaker John Osaki to look at our tragedy from a new perspective. I would encourage you all to look for his film, which is on PBS. It's very interesting. But it gave us a kind of perspective into this week, which in our Jewish calendar allows us to mourn and to celebrate and to face hard realities and to think about what it means to be Jewish. We are coming into Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut. And so Israel is always on our minds, but on this week in particular, we are thinking about what's happening in the Jewish homeland just over there, just far away. Wait, where's east? This way, right? So when I was a rabbi in Juneau, we used to face north to go over the pole. They said it was closer. I don't know. But here we face east, and we look to Yerushalayim, to Israel, to Jerusalem, to all the places in Israel that hold much of our hearts and our love. And tonight, I'm I'm happy to report to you a very happy and wonderful accident that we have the most amazing guest speaker who is with us. I'll introduce him in just a minute. Many of you were under the impression that Ty Gregory would be here from the JCRC, and he is right this minute taking a COVID test. Called me about an hour ago to say, 2 hours ago to say that he's not feeling well, but he really looks forward to being with us. The incredibly happy accident, which is a wonderful gift to our community, is that I happened to make a phone call to Eran Nissan, who was with us yesterday. Those of you who were at Nashen Shmooze got to hear this just extraordinary, inspiring story of the, what did Shimrit call it? She had a wonderful word about the birth of a new, this wasn't her word, but the birth of basically of a new civil society and this moment of growth and expansion. And so Eran is with us tonight before he returns to Israel tomorrow. We're so grateful and really looking forward to hearing what you have to share with us. I will read very briefly your formal bio before you just speak to us with the love and the wisdom that you brought all the way from Israel. Eran Nissan is an Israeli peace activist. He is the CEO of Mehazkim, which he'll tell us about, this wonderful organization that's been arranging the demonstrations that we've seen on TV with hundreds of thousands of people all over Israel, and the director of government relations at the Citizen HQ. Prior to joining Mehazkim, Eran headed the education and advocacy department at Peace Now. He holds a BA in political science and philosophy from the Ben Gurion University and an MA in emergency and disaster management from the Tel Aviv University. Eran is a certified dog trainer and volunteers at Magen David Adom as an EMT and an ambulance driver. And we are just so honored that you are with us tonight. Thank you so much for helping us to understand what's going on in Israel. He's also here, we'll say Mazal Tov. He's here just a few weeks before his wedding. And we wish you a wonderful new Israel in which to build your amazing married life. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Fantastic. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So Rabbi Jessica called me 3 hours ago and said, can you come? And I said, of course. I had such a great time yesterday. And when we finished the event yesterday I said I would love to come back. I didn't think it would be so soon, but sure. Yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Eran Nissan. So I'm an Israeli peace activist. I've been here, this is my first time at the West Coast. A couple of years back, 2019, I interned in Congress for Congressman Jamie Raskin as part of this amazing program called New Story Leadership. And I had the experience of coming with my personal story. So I would like to share my personal story, and then I would like to talk about three things. The protests going now in Israel. I want to talk about resilience, and then I want to talk about hope. And we'll try to wrap it up in 12 to 13 minutes. Okay. So my grandparents on my mother's side immigrated to Israel, Palestine in the 1930s from Poland and Romania. My mom was born in Israel. So they built a kibbutz in Gush Etzion, just in the outskirts of Jerusalem. They fought in the 1948 war. They were in the Palmach. And actually, they were captured by the Jordanian army and got married while being prisoners of war. My grandparents on my father's side were Iraqi Jews that lived in Baghdad. And in the 1940s, and especially 1948, a lot of Arab countries became a very unsafe place for Jews, and a lot of them immigrated to the newly born Israel. But my grandparents immigrated from Iraq to Iran. And my dad was born in Iran, and he grew up there until he was 18, and then the Islamic Revolution happened, so he made Aliyah. And because he was fluent in Farsi and Arabic and English and French and Hebrew, he joined the army and he served as an intelligence officer for over 30 years. I'm the youngest of 3 brothers, and we all served as combat soldiers in the IDF, in the Israeli army. And it used to be, so it's mandatory service, and it used to be 3 years long. Now it's a bit less. And because we're 3 years apart, so on the week that my oldest brother finished his military service, my second brother was drafted, and on the week that he finished his military service, I was drafted. I served as a combat soldier in the Special Forces in the K-9 unit. I had my own personal dog. She's now retired. Her name is Gigi. She was a bomb detection dog. And we were sent to the West Bank, Judea and Samaria, the occupied West Bank, the Palestinian territories, and the Gaza Strip to carry out missions. It was a real meaningful service, but also very difficult. And so this week, we're commemorating in Yom HaZikaron the fallen soldiers. And actually, this is the first Yom HaZikaron that I'm doing abroad. It's always a very difficult week because during my military service, I lost friends. And even in the past year, I lost a friend who was a combat officer. We served together. I was released from the military. He continued, and he was killed in action 7 months ago. So the experiences that I had during my military service pushed me to take a more active role in promoting peace. And I'm a generational peace activist. I believe that a conflict that we pass on to our children is a conflict we lost, and that we inherited this conflict, Israelis and Palestinians, from our parents, and it is our responsibility not to pass this conflict on to the next generation. And we are a generation that was born during the first Intifada, very turbulent, violent time. We grew up during the second Intifada. These were our teenage years in the early 2000s. And we experienced 5 wars in the Gaza Strip in the past 14 years. So violence and hatred and vengeance and bereavement is the soundtrack of our generation's life. And it's our responsibility to make sure that the next generation grow up with a different soundtrack. So I joined Peace Now, Shalom Achshav, and I worked with students and Israeli youth talking about how we can create a more sustainable, just, equal Israel. And when the opportunity to come to Washington, D.C. and bring my personal story, or what we call Don't Talk About Us Without Us, to bring the voices and stories and experiences of Israelis and Palestinians to the United States, I took that opportunity. And here I was transformed from just being a peace activist to be a member of what we call the co-resistance. And this co-resistance is this generational movement of young Israelis and Palestinians fighting to dismantle systems of oppression and injustice and to create equality and peace and security for everyone. And actually, this Sunday, because it's Yom HaZikaron, there's an amazing joint ceremony of bereaved Palestinian and Israeli families coming to share the same space and talk about reconciliation. And it's going to be streamed live on the New Israel Fund and also J Street's Facebook page. So I encourage you to take part in this really amazing event. Right now, so tomorrow night is going to be the 16th week in a row with protests. So there this judicial overhaul, these pieces of legislation that are planning to undermine the Supreme Court and the separation of powers. And we've been marching in the streets for 16 weeks, shouting and chanting and fighting for democracy, to push back against this legislation, but also to call out to create a more equal Israel, to protect our civil and human rights, and also as a peace activist chanting for peace and trying to tie the occupation and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict to the fight for democracy. So I'm the CEO of Mehazkim. Mehazkim is from Chazak, strong. So we're strengthening the Israeli progressive camp through social media. This is our expertise. We run social media campaigns. We're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and WhatsApp and Telegram and YouTube. We even have a Spotify account. And we're producing political content that is aimed to inspire and empower and mobilize Israeli progressives. And we are very fortunate to be supported by the New Israel Fund. And especially right now, the New Israel Fund is this amazing organization that I assume that you know, and maybe some of here supports New Israel Fund, has been supporting dramatically this protest movement in a very unique and future and forward-looking way to give the support to build the infrastructure, not just to push back right now, but to create a sustainable center-left Jewish Arab progressive camp in Israel. So maybe from here you can see, okay, this protest, hundreds of thousands of people in the streets, maybe it looks like a united front, but actually under the surface there is a tension happening inside this protest movement. There are two voices of the protest. One voice, which is very dominant, is chanting, "Save Israel, save Israel democracy." And there's another voice that is me and my colleagues, and we say, "Fix Israel." We understand that this is a moment not only to stop bad things from happening, but also to address the injustices, the systemic problems that Israel is facing right now. And not just with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, but there are deep problems and challenges that we are facing that were kept under the surface. And right now we have the most right-wing, ultra-nationalist, anti-LGBTQ, anti-women, anti-immigration, anti-everything that I hold dearly, and they exposed their vision. And what we're doing in Mehazkim and with the support of the New Israel Fund is to create a counter-narrative, to create our own vision that not only is a distinct vision from theirs, but contradicts their vision. So we are the equality camp. We fight for equality and peace and democracy and justice. So this is only a few minutes about the protest. It's empowering and inspiring. We're blocking highways, we're marching in the streets. It's amazing to see this generational political awakening of teenagers and students coming and say, we demand better, we deserve better. We deserve a government and a country that works for everyone, no exceptions, because this is not good enough. Now, the second thing that I wanted to talk about is resilience. So I did my master's in disaster and emergency management. And although my undergrad is in political science, in the past couple of months I've been drawing more inspiration for my master's because it feels like we're on the verge of disaster and we're dealing with an emergency. And actually, again, the New Israel Fund has this amazing emergency package that they launched, and they're trying to create it's not a war chest, but the resources that will make this fight for a better Israel possible. And I brought some flyers, and I invite you and implore you to read them about the special and very unique way that you can support our struggle back home. And in my studies of emergency and disaster management, I took a course of the psychology of disasters, which is fascinating and interesting. And we know that when we talk about resilience, what is resilience? Resilience is the ability to bend without breaking. It's the ability to face hardship and crisis and threats, but to maintain the ability to function. And when COVID started, we saw that when we looked at society, the pockets of resilience, the people who reported to have higher resilience were doctors and nurses. Although they were on the front line and surrounded by this chaos, they had higher resilience. But also bus drivers and people in the supermarket putting toilet paper and canned food on the shelves had higher reported resilience. And that is because in the face of hardship, if you're active, you will feel stronger. Because a lot of us, we were told, stay at home, you have nothing that you can do, the economy is gonna tank, you might lose your jobs, people are gonna get sick, a lot of people are gonna die, there's nothing really that you can do. And it made us feel passive and helpless and scared. And the uncertainty is something that is very difficult. But there were people, the people that showed high resilience, these are people that woke up in the morning, and I'm an ambulance driver, so I was one of these people. We woke up in the morning and we had stuff to do. We had not only a sense of duty, but we had actual duty to carry out. We were needed. So this is a lesson that I'm learning right now in the protest movement because we are needed. And it's also a lesson for life that when we are faced with a threat and hardship and crisis, we need to not stand idle. When we act, when we being proactive, when we come together as a community and we fight, it's something that also helps our well-being and our mental health, but also to feel not only together, but to feel more resilient. And the last thing I want to talk about is hope. So I'm very optimistic about the future of Israel. And although there's a lot of concern right now and there's a crisis, and it's kind of also an opportunity to talk about all these problems and to build the progressive camp that I know that we deserve, there's this issue of hope. Now, social psychology teaches us that hope is a building with 3 floors. The first floor, the ground floor, is political imagination. It's the ability to imagine a reality that is fundamentally better than the one you're in. Imagine that you're facing a hardship or you're going through a rough patch. What is hope? It's the ability to close your eyes and say, I can imagine a reality that is not that is better. Not just a little bit better, but a lot better. The second floor, after political imagination, is the belief that this reality that we're imagining is possible. So not only that we can imagine it, but we can believe that it's attainable. And the third top floor in this building, which is called hope, is the motivation to act in the real world in order to realize this vision. So we imagine a reality that is better, we believe that it's possible, and we are acting in the real world to make it true. And this is what's happening back home. I see every Saturday, and also because social media is my profession, we are seeing it from week to week. And we're seeing it on a daily and an hourly basis, the amount of power and strength that people are demonstrating, their outcry for equality, for justice, for democracy, for peace, for a constitution, because we don't have a constitution, something that will enshrine and make sure that our human and civil rights are protected. So I will leave you with this metaphor of a building, and I'm saying that the foundations of this building are supported by the New Israel Fund. And when I came here before the service, I came in and you were singing Shir LaShalom as a warm-up. And so a song for peace. And I was so moved by it because this is the week that we remember all of our fallen soldiers. And it's an amazing song, Shir LaShalom. It has political importance, but it's a song that was written by an army veteran who lost his leg in the Six-Day Wars, and he's singing it from the perspective of the fallen soldiers. And he's saying, "Let the sun rise, the morning to dawn. The purest of prayers will not bring us back. Bitter crying will not awaken or return those who candle has gone out and who have been buried in the dust. It won't return anyone to us from dark pits. Here neither joy of victory nor songs of praise will be any use. Don't say the day will come, bring the day, because it is not a dream. In every city square, cry out for peace." And this is what we're doing. Every week, we're going into city squares, not just in Tel Aviv, but in hundreds of cities and towns throughout Israel and around the world. And we're crying for peace and justice and democracy and equality. So thank you very much. Shall we have a Shabbat Shalom in its literal meaning? And thank you for this opportunity. And good luck to us all. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Chazak, chazak, v'nitchazek. May you be strengthened and may we be strengthened together as we do this incredible work. It's so inspiring to me to think on the 75th anniversary of Israel, 75th birthday of Israel coming up, that there's so much hope possible. And this three-story building that you so beautifully described, that we're going to build something that we haven't even yet fully realized in our minds. So all the work that you're doing, the work of Mehazkim, the work of the New Israel Fund, we support you, and we are so excited to keep seeing and hearing and believing from here and from up close in all of the work that you're doing. Toda Rabah. So at this moment when we come together in our service, we have the opportunity to share not only words of inspiration and hope, but also words of celebration to share with each other some of the things that are going on. And perhaps we have this giant crowd coming to celebrate a bar mitzvah tomorrow morning. Will you please introduce who's here and where did they come from? Istanbul, Turkey, welcome. We are so happy to have you.
Yes, this is Jonah's bar mitzvah, and my parents, my cousin, my brother, my nephew, my cousins, and our niece were all here. And most of them came from Turkey. Daphne actually came from France. And Mike came from, I don't know where you were last, but New York, I think.
Mazal tov to all of you. We feel so blessed to be able to celebrate this beautiful bar mitzvah here in San Francisco, California, at Congregation Sherith Israel, with people and family from around the world. And this family came here to San Francisco from Istanbul, and it's really just such a joy to be able to connect with world Jewry in the way that you've brought it to us, and we look forward to celebrating with you tomorrow. Jonah, Mazal tov.
Mazal tov.
Other simchas. Well, first of all, let me just ask, are Jill and Jeremy here anywhere? Okay, our wedding couple, they're supposed to get a blessing here on our bima tonight on the occasion of their first week of marriage. They seem to have continued on their honeymoon somewhere. I didn't think I had seen them anywhere. Well, Jill Rosenberg and Jeremy Frick, Mazal Tov. We hope that you've had a fabulous, wherever you are out there, we hope you've had a fabulous first week of marriage, and we look forward to celebrating with you on your second week or your third week or whenever you come back to San Francisco. Other simchas, Zach.
I performed during lunch at my school in a concert.
Amazing.
Cool. What did you perform?
I performed a song, Cool With You, and Free Fallin' by Tom Petty.
Love it.
Excellent.
Love it. Mazal tov.
Maddie, you had a special day to celebrate, yes?
Our school had like an Earth Day celebration, and the Green Academy program was like giving out like water bottles and also tote bags. And there was like a person who was offering like some internships, and it was really cool because like I think it's important that like schools are like bringing awareness about like the environment so that like students just know more and are more up to date.
And
Yes.
you had your birthday on the 18th.
And also my birthday was on the 18th.
Yes, Mazal tov.
Happy birthday and happy Earth Day as we continue to celebrate this beautiful planet on which we live.
My new novel is out on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and I assume rolling out on all the usual ebook sources. Its title is The Short, Pun Intended, Redemptive Life of Little Ned, and it's about children of three different Jewish immigrant families in the early part of the 20th century, staggering under the weight of the American dream.
Wow, Mazel tov. What book number is
Anyone
this?
Else?
I don't know, 9, 10.
Lots of books, no?
We love our published authors. Mazel tov, David. Eric.
So I had some excellent teaching this week, but the best part of the week was I had the opportunity to learn from one of my students, which is my favorite part of my job. She showed me something that I had never seen about a novel that I know really intimately and well, and it was just beautiful to be able to learn from her.
Nice. That's so nice to feel like the next generation becomes your teacher. Beautiful.
Dahlia.
Hi, I'm the vice president of our Students Against Sexual Harassment and Assault Club, and it was very frantic, but we worked really hard on pulling off this sexual wellness event because our sex ed is very lacking. And it was a lot, but we pulled off a school-wide event, and it was super successful, and we have promises of being able to have most likely an annual event now that'll become involved in the school calendar. So that's really exciting.
Great.
Great leadership.
See, Eran here too. Young people taking control of our society. Very exciting. Mazal tov, Dalia. There, Meaka, I know what you're going to say.
Might be a plug. Happy plug.
Yes, it is a happy plug. So I'm just so proud of our kids right now, though. So I don't know if all of you had a chance to check your email today and see the amazing note from our rabbis and our student rabbi, and the image that George was sent to us to use to support the gala.
It's memorable.
Yes. So I'm one of the co-chairs for our disco-themed Gold Gorish Gala this year. It's on May 6th. And George showed his support for our community in a way that he may...
regret.
Yeah. But I just wanted to say thank you so much. So check your email, come to the gala.
Photo credit to my mom.
I thought you'd put the baby in like a disco suit or something. We are really looking forward to seeing everybody at the Gold Rush Gala, a huge celebration of our community. So please join us there. Were there other simchas on this side of the room? Anybody else do anything awesome? Oh yes, wait, we need to get that.
I'm so sorry, Robert.
Hold on,
I missed you.
On its way back.
I better say a lot since you walked so far to get here. Well, I had a birthday this week on Tuesday.
Mazal tov.
No-
Ave stream to 120.
Oh, thank you. I'm not that old yet. but
Right, so you have a long ways to go
right.
to 120.
It wasn't a particular milestone, but at my age, every birthday is a milestone. Thank you.
Fantastic.
You, Robert. Happy birthday.
Fantastic. Good. All of these wonderful things to celebrate. We want to keep celebrating together. We love all of this. So in honor of all of our opportunities to be together, to celebrate a new young adult, to celebrate weddings and wonderful things that are going on, protests in Israel that will make a better society, please stand and join with the cantor as we thank God for giving us life and sustaining us and enabling us to reach this time.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Amen.
We remain standing and turn to page 282 for Aleinu. It is upon us to change the world.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. We turn to page 295. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for blessing. We remember for Shiva, for the first 7 days of mourning this week, Arnold Saltzman, father of Sarah Saltzman, and Yochanan Giovanni Sermonetta, who is the beloved father of our Consul General to Israel, Marco Sermonetta, who's back in Israel to observe his father's burial today. He asked that we would say Kaddish here as well as in Israel, both of his homes. If you are observing Shiva the first 7 days of mourning, please stand and share a name with us. Please remain standing. For Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning in our community, we remember John Greenspan, Louis Hyman, and Eleanor Johns. If you are observing Shloshim, please stand and share a name with us. If you're observing the first year of mourning for a loved one, please stand and share a name with us.
Ruth Gottstein, Nathan Zakai, Peter Gable.
The yahrzeit anniversaries in our community on this Shabbat are Zelda Auerbach, Bernard Feldman, Tina T.J. Feldman, Barbara Fromer, Louis Gansky, Philip Green, Edith Hyman, Leonard Jefferson IV, Joseph G. Kricksfeld, Millie Rabin, Nathan Ravel, Simon Reznikoff, Daniel Rosen, Jack Sladnick, Joseph Spindell, Nathan Spindell, and others whom you mentioned now. If you're observing a yahrzeit, please stand and share a name with our community. We stand as one community with our mourners and share in these words of Kadisha Tom on page 294. Yitgadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'amei almaya, yit barach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlam araba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to mourners everywhere. And we say together, amen. Please be seated. Just a couple of announcements. Please join us immediately following services for an oneg in honor of our wonderful bar mitzvah. And thank you to our bar mitzvah family for sponsoring this, the Fresco family. At 8 o'clock tonight, there is a YAP Shabbat dinner and service, the young adult program. I couldn't figure out what the P was. The young adults are 20s and 30s, so send them our way. Tomorrow morning at 9:15, Torah study on Zoom. I look forward to studying this I don't know, how shall I say, gory and disgusting, juicy, rich, double Torah portion, Tazria Mitzorah, which is all about, leprosy and skin diseases and fun things like that. Please join us for that conversation tomorrow morning at 9:15. At 10:30, Jonah is going to teach us about this Torah portion, which is awesome. And we're really looking forward to celebrating with you both in person and on YouTube if you are joining us from, I don't know where, Turkey or somewhere else, far away. Lots of things coming up. As we mentioned, Yom HaZikaron, the celebration for the community presented by the Consulate General of Israel, will be taking place here in Newman Hall on Sunday night. Farewell Shabbat next Friday night for Cantor Glaser, and there's an opportunity to send him beautiful wishes as he moves to Pittsburgh on the Kudo board, so please look at Under the Dome for the link to that. We look forward to celebrating with a festive oneg and lots of schmoozing. A wonderful series coming up that is co-sponsored, sponsored by, inspired by Hills of Eternity. Here in Congregation Sherith Israel, our beautiful cemetery that has really inspired this learning series of 5 opportunities to be together. Do you want to say, I don't have a microphone down there. We have lots of HOE board members here. Thank you for your work. Eric has worked very, very hard to put together this series with incredible speakers, and we're looking forward to the Wednesday nights in May.
Yes. Thank you. We're very excited about it. The first one is actually going to be at Sinai Memorial Chapel, and that is on May 3rd. It's very much about the practicalities of what happens when a person dies. Very much about the physical as well as the spiritual work that happens when a person has passed, but really about the practicalities. It's wonderful. The registration is open. Please do register. It'll also be live streamed. It's free, and it is open to the public, so share word with your friends. And you should be aware that it's not a class in that you need to attend all of them. They're self-contained, so come for one, come for all. It'll be beautiful and educational and rich and wonderful. Thank you.
We don't have the time on here, but I think 5 to 6:30. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. It starts at 5. There'll be question and answer. There'll be a little bit of nosh. There'll be a little bit of talk. It'll be wonderful.
And Helene has a very brief announcement.
Because it's coming next week before this other, which is the RAC California Climate Cetic Action Webinar, Wednesday, 7 to 8:15. There are flyers out back. If you haven't already signed up, please do. And if you have, please invite some other people to join us. We're really looking forward to having a wonderful turnout and really getting some things going, which is going to impact us all for the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Please get your tickets to the Gold Rush Gala. We look forward to seeing you there with lots of sequins and other, things that went out of style a long time ago, white suits and bell bottoms and things like that. It's going to be super fun. We will join together in Kiddush. Jonah, I understand you're leading that for us. So come on up, and we will all stand as you sing our beautiful blessing of freedom and honoring Shabbat.
Tip the Kiddush cup. Hold the microphone. Oh, yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'yatzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'avratzon ichilanu zikaron v'maaseh b'reishit ki hu yom tehila v'mikra kodesh Zeret Siyat Mitzrayim Kivanu Baharta Veotanu Kidashta Mikol Amim Veshabbat Kodsheha Urava Uraton Ilhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
Chaim.
Yeah, beautiful chanting. Thank you.
And we have a beautiful homemade challah. I haven't seen it. I haven't even been on Facebook today, so I have no idea what it is. Ruth is gonna, do you want to tell us?
Wow.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
you want to say something?
Yeah, please. Oh, for Earth Day. Is this Earth Day?
As much as I would have loved to have done something with boils and skin diseases, I thought celebrating the earth and the beautiful flowers.
Next year.
The beautiful flowers, which have just been so inspirational around the city, like in the past few weeks when it finally got sunny. So we have our blossoms. And for the Turkish family, it's flavored with orange blossom water.
Beautiful.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruth. All right, I'll take a little
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
We will close our service on page 394 with Shir LaShalom.
Thank you so much for framing it so beautifully for us. Let's go to 2 very quickly.
עולת שמש לעלות, לבוקר להאיר, חזקה שבת תפילות, אותנו לא תחזיר. מי אשר קבע נרו, וביפה נטמן, וחימה לא יאירו, לא יחזירו לכאן. איש אותנו לא ישיב, מבור תחתית תפר, כאן לא יועילו לו שירי הניצחון, ולא שירי הלב. לכן רק שירו, שיר השלום, אל נלחשו תפילה. תשירו שיר השלום, צעקה גדולה. צאו לשמש לחדות, מבעד לפרחים. אל תביטו לאחור, הניחו לחולים. צאו עיניים בתקווה, לא דרך קבענו, שירו שיר לאהבה ולא למלחמות. אל תגידו שיר, sorry, אל תגידו לא יבוא, הביאו את היום, כי לא חלום הוא בכל הכיכרות, התהיו לשלום. כן רק שירו, שיר השלום, אל תרחשו תפילה. טוב תשירו, שיר השלום, בצעקה גדולה. על כן רק שירו, שיר השלום, אל תרחשו תפילה. טוב תשירו, שיר השלום, בצעקה גדולה. Shabbat Shalom.
Please turn to the people around you and give them a big hug or an elbow bump or a big Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much to Omri Gal Oz